This is about where the roof video started. Slab foundation, brick, house faces south. We're behind the fence on the west exterior wall. We have continuous soffit vents. We noticed that we had most of the soffits and baffles in the appropriate locations in the attic, although not all of them. These are our bathroom vents. Nice brick, weep holes. See these weep holes? They're supposed to be here. Above our windows and our doors, anything with a metal lintel, and around the foundation perimeter. Brick is a great building material. This house could burn down, you could reuse the brick. So it's basically fireproof, the brick is. Great sound insulator, great heat insulator. It's good for the house. But a characteristic of brick is that it's porous. So when the water hits the brick, water goes through it and it goes down the back. That's why the exterior sheathing was so important in the other inspection, in the pre-drywall inspection. And then most of the time, all you're going to see that come out of these weep holes is vapor. I mean, you won't see it. Most of the time what comes out of these weep holes is vapor. But if you do have an event, I hope you don't, I've seen a few, and if you do have an event, the water will come out those weep holes. This is called a control expansion joint. Some people call them expansion joints. Call it what you will, it's a control joint. Because we know when we have this much wall in this part of the country, it's going to move. It's going to move. So it's like the lines in the street. You see the street where they pour that? Okay, so hopefully most of your movement will happen in here. But what needs to happen here is because this is a sealant, so it gets dry, okay, and shrinks. So every year or so, you need to come out of your house, look at what you're paying for, and make sure that these control joints remain properly sealed. We're going to get to this in a minute. These are weep holes, like the brick. And those are called weirs, those little plastic things inside of there. The rain gutter should divert water farther away from the house. Okay? Farther away from the house. I don't know why the builders lay the blocks out. I've heard that they say, what, sprays it out, spreads it out like a... Right? I don't know about that. Over here, this is a clean out. It's not a main clean out, but we got a nice little hole right in there. That needs to be sealed. That needs to be sealed. Let's see if I can get a picture of this and check my method out. Is that going to come out good? Yeah, pretty good. If I forget to come back here and get the other camera. Moving on along. Coming around here. Whether it's brick or steps or siding, course number 1 is the bottom course. 2, 3, 4, 5. On the first course right over here, we got a nice good little hammer ding in that. See that? Right there. Right there. Oh, bud. No, this is a new house. It's a new house. And see, this first course, there's a gap underneath it. It's kind of like the weep holes down here, because water goes down. So we want to make sure that we've got a way for moisture to weep out from behind there. It doesn't go for the sides. This side trim board, side freeze board, right there, that gap should have been sealed. Sure should have been sealed. Let's do that method again. Bud, let's do your method. Okay, everybody, hang on. Come on, everybody. We'll do it. Do a little zoom. Get up there. That's how we do it. Okay. Again, the rain gutter is not diverting water far enough away. Now remember when I showed you that we got weep holes? And then we've got weirs? These weirs are inexpensive. They don't cost very much. Buy a whole bag of them for $12 or something. I don't know. Everything's going up. Well, we're missing our weirs here. Now, those weirs don't do very much. They keep bugs out and dust out is what they do. The important part is that it weeps. But I have been in an empty house on a windy day and it played like a flute. I didn't know what it was. It was a learning moment for me. But I learned that it's possible if the wind blows right, this thing's going to play like a flute for you too. You'll think the house is haunted, like I did. You're going to find out what it was. But these windows came with those weirs. And you can buy replacement weirs very inexpensively. And it's a new house. I just think you should have your weirs. That's the way it was supposed to come. Out here, this porch has had an extension on it. That's nice. Got an exterior here. Yeah. See if our GFCI works. We're nosy. Yeah, it does. Look at that. Okay. Coming on along, anytime you have a metal lintel, you're supposed to have a weep. You've got these. Now I cannot determine, because we have this baseboard that's around here, I cannot ascertain that this column has a stand installed underneath it. I have to go back and look at the other inspection report and see if it was exposed when I was here, and see if maybe the builder was made aware of it before it happened. This is the back exterior faucet. Alright. This siding, this was a little better. I could have talked about it earlier. With the siding, everywhere you have these butt ends, okay, you're supposed to have flashing tape underneath there, behind it. I just fall down dead if I found it. I don't see it very often, that's the honest truth. But the manufacturer thinks that there should be flashing tape, always shedding water away from the structure. Coming on along, another control joint. The kitchen vent fan, we're going to talk about that in a little bit. This is the air conditioning condensing unit. We're going to talk about that in a little bit too. Now, this is not a wood destroying, and the rain gutter does not divert water far enough away. This is not a wood destroying insect report, but this is as good a time as any to tell you this. Well, I got the drone of the air conditioner behind me. Is that where are termites? Where do they live? They live in the ground. Where do they eat? Dead wood. What's wet wood mulch? It's dead wood on the ground next to your house. It's called a clue. You might want to think about something else besides wood mulch next to your house. You won't. My wife didn't. Now, this is the clothes dryer vent. This is your condensing unit. What it does when it runs, that fan sucks air into these coils. And that air, even on a summer day, because it's high pressure coming in, will cool the refrigerant to send it back into the house. That's its job. So it sucks the air through the coils. The excess heat gets blown out the top. That's the way an air conditioner works. This is a clothes dryer. It sucks the moisture and the lint out of your laundry and blows it out of that hole. This is sucking, this is blowing. Blowing lint, sucking lint. Just saying. This exterior wall luminary, carriage lamp, if you will, alright, just doesn't look real straight to me. Maybe they can straighten, maybe I can straighten. No, I can't. Do no harm. But it's just a little crooked for a new house, I think. And so while I'm here, we can keep moving along. GFCI. It's not labeled as being GFCI. Anytime you have a receptacle outlet that's GFCI protected, it's supposed to be labeled. The other one had a switch on. There he goes. I heard it go in the garage. But it's supposed to be labeled GFCI. Speaking of garage, let's just do this, because the garage is kind of the exterior wall. Our wall got opened up here. We had a water leak earlier. Alright, so our wall got opened up. We're going to need to fix that. I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will. Just tested some of them that I haven't. Now over here on the garage floor, we have a little bit of cracking. And the builder's going to tell you this. He's going to say it. He's going to say, well, concrete does two things. It gets hard and it cracks. Ha ha ha. It's true. It's true. So this cracking is normal. If it's no wider than a 32nd of an inch, if it's no wider than a 32nd of an inch in two locations, okay, if the floor is not out of plane, and if the cracks peter out as they get to the edge instead of getting wider, those are some guidelines that I use to try to determine, how this crack is affecting the cement. So this is normal. Now it doesn't mean that everybody wants it. Like, wow, your neighbors come over, you've got those normal cracks. I want those cracks in my floor. Would it be better if the cracks were not there? Of course they would be. But it is also the nature of the product. Kind of like checking on a post. Checking on a post, kind of like that. And we're going to get to that in a moment. Coming along here. That is the weather sensor for the lawn sprinkler irrigation system. Now for a retaining wall, I don't do surveys, but usually whoever has the high ground is responsible for the retaining wall. A lot of times in these communities that have homeowners associations, I don't know if this one does or not, it might be a homeowners association thing, but it's usually generally considered whoever has the high ground is responsible for the retaining wall. Just saying. This retaining wall is missing a rock. Is this still here? It was here when I got here this morning. Look at that. Is that drainage? No. That's not drainage. This is grading. This is drainage. The builder comes out here and says, well, if it doesn't dry within 48 hours, then we consider that a problem. Yeah? Yeah. It doesn't dry within 48. It's supposed to drain today. Well, our warranty company doesn't have a problem with it. This is okay by our warranty company. That's fine. So your warranty company? You mean, who owns your warranty company? ABC? Oh, it's good to know. Who owns your company? ABC. ABC owns both companies. Yes, but they're different. One hand doesn't wash the other. No, it doesn't. I'm sure. Thanks for reminding me. This is not drainage. This is not drainage. And 5 years later, when I come back to inspect this house for somebody else, or another inspector comes out here, and they talk about the drainage, and you're going to be going like, well, it's always been like that. And the new buyers, they might not be so benevolent towards the situation. It doesn't drain, it doesn't dry properly, it's not good for your foundation. It's great. Mosquitoes love that. West Nile disease. It's a health issue. Your kids can play in here though, make mud pies. Might do some crawdad fishing. I want to see what the door looks like. I come in the interior wall, like I said. And by the way, I got the infrared camera out. We had some water leakage on the pre-drywall inspection. We had water drainage along this wall. And so I used infrared camera, I used a surface mounted moisture detector, and it's dry. And it rained really good last night. We had a really strong rain last night, so apparently, from what I can see, that issue's been dealt with. Or it doesn't happen without the siding's on or something, but I can't I can't determine that there's really been a problem. Another thing that was going on in the original framing is we had some problems with the anchor bolts over here and this cracking right there. And you know, the cracking's still there. I can't see now what they've done, you know, in regards. There's a lot of things in the pre-drywall inspection that there's some things I could check and recheck, and there's other things that I couldn't. One of the things is over here on the pre-drywall, I could tell that the flashing wasn't properly lapped. The edge flashing was not properly lapped. And I don't know that now because we have rain gutter in front of it. Sometimes that's how it gets fixed. I hate to say that. I hope it got fixed, but on the other hand, I've yet to see. I'd like to be wrong. I'd like to call me up and say, "Bud, we got that edge flashing situation taken care of." Metal overhead doors. Lintels are supposed to extend 6 inches. I can't not tell whether they did or not. Now this is in some other locations, but this is a good place for me because I'm short. Alright, but the rain gutter butt ends are not supposed to be closer than 2 inches to the brickwork. This vent up here, alright, that's your fresh air induction vent for your air conditioning systems. It has a screen on it. In some parts of the country or the world, they don't think much about those screens because freezing rain can, you know, be blown into that and then stop it up and cause your furnace not to fire properly. But down here, most municipalities require it. It's a code requirement to have that screen because we have a lot more birds than we have freezing rain. It's true. A lot more birds. This is post-tension slab foundation, and it's covered with coated with a parge coat, and it's a decorative coating that goes around it. It's not the cement. It's not the concrete. If it cracks, it cracks. The foundation could crack and it not crack. Just because you have a crack in your parge coat does not necessarily mean that you have a crack in the foundation perimeter. Okay, it's like a cake frosting, and it expands and contracts because it's just a little different materials, different rates than the actual foundation. So you will experience some cracking, and it will create some voids. And those voids, and again, you know, that means just the nature of the product. I'm just letting you know. But those voids, you know, can allow termites to enter your structure undetected. And I'm not saying that they will, you know, but given enough time, they're going to find some way into this house. They don't have to go through that. They'll come up through the plumbing. They're vicious little creatures. And coming on along. On the front porch, I'll check that on the way, you know what, I'll check that on my way in when I do the interior. Another one of these columns, okay, remember I was saying checking? That's not checking. This is a faceboard. See all the, alright? So that's just a broken split faceboard. It's just take this off and put another one on. They might come in here and seal it for you, you know. I don't know how long the sealant will last. We can't say that it's not going to come back. Going on along. Again, there's the weirs. Missing our weir. Now, generally considered, you know, all things considered, whatever, this would be your retaining wall, and we're missing a rock right there. Everyone's missing a rock. I guess it's pretty consistent, huh? Now, if it's twice its height away from the structure, it should not have an immediate effect on the foundation's performance, and therefore is beyond the scope of this inspection. I can say, though, that it looks like it's performing the function which is intended. It looks like it's being serviceable. Okay, I don't know what kind of design, because if it's less than 4 feet, a special code, okay, a special permit was not required for this retaining wall, unless it had something to do with there's so many in the community or there's some other circumstances. But on an individual basis, if it's less than 4 foot high, a building permit's not even required for that. So I don't know if it has any tiebacks, um, you know, what kind of support it has. I don't know anything about it except that it looks like it's performing today. And it might be far enough away that it's even beyond the scope of this inspection. And it might not be yours. This might be a tenancy in common. It might be a community thing. It might be a owners association thing. I don't know. And moving on along. Like the whole. That's where we took our water pressure earlier. Missing some more weirs. Double pane vinyl frame windows. I didn't even realize there was a gate here. I just thought it was a fence.